Hi, my name is Jon Piper from Hillside Community Church in Porterville, and I want to bring you your moment with God from John 13. This chapter teaches us that God has given us a high calling to go low. It teaches us how to serve others like Jesus. We see in John 13, the Lord of heaven and earth, the maker of all mankind, descends lower than anyone would imagine as he stoops down so that he can wash his disciples' feet. And Jesus has given us a spectacular high standing as his representatives. Jesus is showing us that the only people who qualify for this high standing are those who go low in humble service. And in verses 14 and 5, we see Jesus the servant. We need to understand that everything that Jesus did that night, it reminds us of who he is and what he came to this world to do. Let me run through a short list of facts that stand out. In verse 4, we see that Jesus rose from supper. That he had already risen from his fellowship with God the Father and God the Spirit in heaven to come to earth. Also in verse 4, we see Jesus laid aside his outer garment. Jesus has already laid aside his heavenly glory to be born in human flesh. That Jesus girded himself with a towel. And the word refers to a knotted cloth or a slave's service apron. That Jesus had already robed his deity in humanity when he came to this earth as a man. In verse 5, we see Jesus poured out water into a basin to cleanse the dirty feet of his men. That Jesus would soon pour out his precious blood to cleanse the dirty souls of his people. Also in verse 5, we see Jesus washed and dried the feet of the disciples. That Jesus would wash away the awful stains of sin from the souls of all those who would receive him. I'm trying to remind you who this was that took water and a towel to wash the feet of the disciples. The man who was and is God in human flesh. This was and is the Lord of glory. This is the creator of all things. This is God in human flesh. This is the Savior, the Redeemer, the Deliverer of lost sinners. That this is the King of kings and the Lord of lords. This is the one who's doing the washing. Jesus is hours away from being on the cross, and he doesn't think about himself. He thinks about his disciples. That it was Jesus knowing who he was and of his mission and destiny that enabled him to go low and wash the feet of the disciples. Christians, go low and serve and represent your Savior. Find a church to serve in if you haven't found a church yet. Remember, Jesus, he went low. And because going low is the path of joy, do not exalt yourself, but go low in humble service.